Rev up your engine! Now, Toyota's been selling RAV4s since 1996 in the United States. And so far, they've sold over 4 million of these things. There's a lot of reasons for that, but the main reason is here under the hood. This particular one has a venerable 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. And in this case, it's the redesigned 2AR engine. It's not like the earlier one that burned oil from worn piston rings and worn pistons. These, I haven't seen any problems with them as long as you change the oil. And this particular one is made to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Perhaps the best transmission Toyota ever made. Sure, the early 4-speed automatics, they were fine. These 6-speeds get much better gas mileage and have much better power characteristics. And today the RAV4s come in various configurations. 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. They even have a hybrid version. They're really one of the most popular semi-compact SUV. They might call them compact, but they got a lot of room inside. Just check it out. Nice sporty interior in the front, lots of room in the back, all kinds of room. In this case, they put the back seats forward, so there's all kinds of room. They carry their dogs around to here. Lots of room for the dogs. They don't have that ugly spare hiding on the back like they used to. They got the spare in a normal place. It's hiding under here, where it belongs. So stylistically, it looks a lot better than those old ones with that ugly tire on the back. A nice interior, it's utilitarian, but it's got everything you need. Air conditioning, digital readout, steering wheel control for phone and for stereo, and for what mode you can have displayed on the dash. And this is a normal stock RAV4. They also make them with 3rd row seating. Yeah, they can fit 3rd row seating in some of these things. It's amazing, but the engineers figured out how to do it. These newer ones handle a lot better than the older ones. They got disc brake in the front, also disc brake on the back. They stop a lot better. Now, SUVs are generally pretty much gas hoggy because they're up in the air, their size, their speed. But for an SUV, a customer gets 30 miles a gallon on a highway in this thing. Gets about 24 in town. Pretty good for an SUV. And of course, if you don't mind the complexity and expense of a hybrid, the hybrid RAV4s are even better. You take a 2019 RAV4 hybrid, that thing gets 41 miles a gallon in the city because it's got regenerative braking, which is really good gas mileage for an SUV. And since it's a Toyota and other hybrid stuff is pretty much all based on the Prius hybrids, they're pretty reliable. Now, I don't advise somebody to buy one that's got 150,000 miles or something since 10 years old when it comes to hybrids, but if you buy a new one, you're not generally going to have problems till you get higher mileage like that on any Toyota. Now, as you can see with this 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine, a lot of working room. Now, it is a Toyota, so generally you don't have to do much work. But whenever you do, hey, it's easy. Changing the oil, for instance, it's high enough you don't even have to jack it up. You can reach the oil pan, drain it out, and it's got one of those dumb filters where you got to take the plastic container off and change the inside filter, but that too can be done without jacking it up as long as you have the special wrench that fits on it. Now, I do have to say honestly, the newer ones that have CVT transmissions or the 8-speed automatics, I'm not a big fan of yet, because the 8-speed automatics have had problems and I don't really trust CVTs of any sort yet. Now, that said, my son recently brought a new one last year, so we'll see how it goes over the years. If his CVT holds up, he loves it so far. He says it's got plenty of acceleration and gets better gas mileage than even the rating is. But I don't trust that stuff until it's been out for 5-6 years or more. Because when they put the 8 speeds in these, the 8-speed automatics were okay for the first year or two, but then they showed they had problems as they aged. So I'd wait on that. This 6-speed, pretty much bulletproof. They're great automatic transmissions. So somebody asked me, what would you rather have? A 2015 RAV4 like this with a 6-speed automatic or a 2019 with an 8-speed automatic? I'd take the older car. That 8-speed automatic, problematical. This thing, they've had no problems with it whatsoever. I rarely ever see a problem in the 6-speed automatic, but I see 8 speeds all the time. They'll slip, they won't shift right, they just didn't perfect them yet. And for what it's worth, the CVT in the RAV4s, that's only available in the hybrid version. So that CVT transmission is pretty close to the Toyota Prius, because when you have the hybrid, you gotta have a CVT transmission with the Toyota design, because the engine has an input to run it, so does the electric motor, and the CVT transmissions can transfer it easily that way. So if you're buying a RAV4 with a CVT, it's going to be a hybrid. Now, as time has gone by, the RAV4s have evolved They're much bigger vehicles than they used to be. If you look at the early ones from 1996, they were a lot smaller, stubbier inside. They didn't ride as well. They were a lot slower than these. They've really evolved quite well with the whole line of RAV4s. And aside from the somewhat weak 8-speed automatic transmissions that they use now, they have a pretty reputable history of not having problems going high mileage. I've got customers to these things 350, 400,000 miles regularly. And compare this front end with a 96. They don't even look like the same vehicle. They got a lot of style now. I like it that they have it on 2015. Put that horrible scowling grill. They kept the classic grill on it, and I agree with it. Now, they have put a somewhat bigger grill on the 2019s, but nothing like that big scowling insane one they put on the Lexus and on some of the Corollas. They still kept it relatively conservatively to make the look stay and not just copy what everybody else is doing. So really, it's reliability that's kept these things being sold. People want an SUV. They want one that doesn't break down, that lasts a long time, has a nice ride, isn't outrageously bumpy. Now the old ones were, getting a 96 if you can find one, they are real bumpy rides. But these, they have a decent smooth ride to them, plenty enough pickup, and pretty good gas mileage for an SUV. So now you know why Toyota sold millions of these things. Give people what you want. As times change, they changed the RAV4 too, make it bigger, more powerful, but still getting decent gas mileage. And one like this 2015 RAV4, hey, of course, nothing lasts forever, but these 2015s, they can last about as close to ever as any car made these days. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.